that note, Mr. Keith Vaz into the conversation. Mr. Vaz, I want to understand from your perspective, how exactly is the Indian diaspora as well as people in the United Kingdom reading the FTA?
Good afternoon from London. Clearly, everyone likes a win, and both Prime Minister Modi and Keir Starmer are claiming a win, and they've got every reason to do so. Your description that Rolls-Royces will cost less in India and people will be able to buy more whiskey. These are two areas, of course, that politicians or ex-politicians would not necessarily be celebrating. But the industries that produce them will be very pleased that they're able to do so. I certainly believe that this will create jobs in both countries, as all these agreements will eventually do. But as your previous speakers have said, Brexit has had a lot to do with it. Britain is desperately looking for trade partners after losing the best trade partner we have, which is the EU. If you look at mere percentages, as a percentage of the market, 47.7% of our goods is exported to the EU, and only currently 1.9% to India. So it's not a huge market at the moment, and I'm not sure whether that percentage is going to move that much higher, because Ireland is the next on the list at 6.6%. So India is basically well down the list. So it's right that we should be looking at India as a market. And it's a failure, I suppose, of previous governments not to do so. So it's a good win for both prime ministers and both countries. It's going to increase the level of trade, though India is right at the bottom in terms of the percentages. Even if you look at what is exported to us, imported by us, the EU imports 53.1% and India only 1.8%. So there's an absolutely huge gap there. It's not going to set the world on fire, but it's important that it's happened. I, though, want to stress the politics of this visit. This is the fourth visit of Narendra Modi. I think he's probably dealing with his third prime minister in terms of meetings, probably his fifth overall. And I would like to have seen a longer visit, not just to sign this agreement in front of the cameras. I think India is politically a very, very important country. I think the fact that you have Narendra Modi there for so many years as Prime Minister, stable, secure leadership from India, this does not apply to any other country in the world. I would have liked to have seen more activities, not just a meeting at Chequers, which is Keir Starmer's country house, well, not his house, but the Prime Minister's official country house. I would like to have seen better engagement with the Indian diaspora. I would have liked to see a discussion about the role of Indian students, the fact that the British government has cut post-study work from 2 years to 18 months. Next week, Indian chefs will find it very difficult to get a visa to come to this country because they've been taken out of the special quota. So there are lots of other issues apart from free trade that mean more to the British Indian diaspora than the price of a Rolls Royce. And I would like to have seen that had happened. Hopefully, Prime Minister Modi would have invited Keir Starmer to visit India. He should have done so already, and recognize India is a massively important country now. Yes. In terms of world affairs. Let's hope that that's happened, because free trade is one thing, but there's so much politics in the world at the moment. One final point, I think everyone is making these deals because of Donald Trump. I'm not a supporter of Donald Trump, but he has turned the world upside down as far as trade is concerned. Because of the tariffs coming from the United States, all these other countries are running around making deals. And a 3-year logjam, which we have seen on the free trade deal here, has been speeded up because people need to get new partners. Yes. Because the United States is such an unstable partner.
Mr. Vaz, that was going to be my next question to you, because of course, the initial economic forecasts have been rather positive about the FTA. But how resilient do you think both the economies and the countries would be, or the benefits rather of the FTA would be against potential future global economic shocks or shifts in political priorities?
Yeah, it's lovely to have, obviously. If you buy a bottle of whiskey in Goa, for example, my hometown, it will be cheaper now as a result of this deal, but I'm not sure whether that will desperately benefit the people of India to be able to buy cheaper whiskey. We certainly would like cheaper textiles coming from India, because I think India makes the best textiles in the world. And that'll benefit your economy. But there are massive global waves going across. Every single day, Donald Trump, in his very insecure and social media driven way in which he runs his country, is putting tariffs up and putting tariffs down. With India, with the United Kingdom, with the EU, with Canada, we're living in a period of immense economic turmoil. Forget about Brexit. That was bad for us, of course. I was for us staying in the EU. But this is far worse when you get an American president, the largest economy in the world, changing his mind every single day, depending on who's been nice to him and who nominates him for the Nobel Prize for Peace. We simply cannot have a world economic order that is based on that kind of activity. That's why I think India's role is absolutely crucial. I honestly believe that Narendra Modi is probably the leader of the free world, because the United States seems to have given up this role. It wants to be very insular, and therefore other countries like India, the United Kingdom, have got to pick up the tab and pick up the leadership that is required. So I think I was expecting more from this meeting. I would have liked it to have been a longer meeting on other issues apart from signing a free trade agreement, because I think we have so much to gain from our relationship with India and India with the United Kingdom. And the biggest export, of course, is people. People
Yes.
trying legitimately to come into this country who are finding it very difficult to come from India in order to get those visas to work here. And I'm not sure this FTA helps them.